you'll be able to pass. So long as you start reading today, you'll be able to pass very well. So, but have you been able to see what I've attached here? Have you been able to see what I've attached here, my good students? They are not able to talk to me. I know why they are not able to talk. Sorry for that. I know why they are not able to talk. Give me a minute. I know why they are not able to talk. Host tools. So the host tools, I should be able to allow them to chat. So have you been able to see what I've been able to, ladies and gentlemen, to attach there? Yes, now. So we continue. All right. Yes. Now, when it comes to leadership and management, there are things that you're supposed to go to this exam knowing. What are these things that I'm supposed to go to this exam knowing? For example, those theories regarding the management scholars. So for example, ladies and gentlemen, I should be able to know the contributions of Henry Fayol. Do you know the contributions of Henry Fayol, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody who is able to remember the contributions? He did two great contributions, Henry Fayol. What and what? Yeah, he gave us in this case here what we call the 14 principles of management. 14 principles of management. So 14 principles of management. If you remember very well, under these 14 principles of management, we shall always use what we call that USSR, Russia. Oh, I see. These are 14 principles. Do you remember those 14 principles? For example, employees and of course every member of staff shall be very disciplined. We shall exercise what we call authority. We shall be authoritative as managers, all right? Authoritative, but of course ensure that we also take responsibility. We shall be able, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here to go for, division of work. We should be able to specialize, right? Division of work is really, really important. Please name them. I can see remuneration. Yeah, remuneration is key. Don't be that organization that is simply empowering the directors alone. The directors are the ones, in this case, who are driving very great vehicles outside there, whereas the other employees are walking by barefoot. Yeah, from Mathare North to, in this case, industrial area. That is really, really wrong. Yeah, so remuneration in this case here should be able also to factor in the contribution of the employees towards productivity of the farm. That farm, that employee who is able to contribute a lot, then automatically, ladies and gentlemen, should be able to get more remunerations. Yeah, we have a spirit de corps, isn't it? A spirit de corps, and a spirit de corps, we should be able to exercise what we call teamwork at the workplace. That is why you will see, for example, Mwalimu here, I go with my staff, in this case here, to TZ at times, Naivasha, etc. It's good to have those team building activities. Very, very important, because team building activities will make these people more motivated. Then we have initiatives, yes. So initiatives, ladies and gentlemen, what do we know about initiatives? Initiatives is ideation. Ideation. So in this case here, don't be that autocratic leader. You must be able to put down your members of staff and let them give you ideas. Let them have some projects that they are running, in this case here, by themselves. So they were able to come up with those projects, and now they are kind of controlling. It's very, very important. But when you're autocratic, when you're a dictator, you would want everything to go your way. That is really, really wrong. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen here. Unit of command and scalar chain, they're the same. Who is reporting to who? Very, very important. The other thing that I would want you to appreciate as we get onto these revisions, what we call low-hanging fruits revisions, harvesting low marks, quite easy concept that you can use in your exams. You must be able to appreciate 𝗥𝗖𝗠 did his experiment long time ago in America in a company called General Electric. General Electric. So he did an experiment that was later on called Hawthorne's experiment. Hawthorne's experiment. Hawthorne's experiment. We forget my spellings there. Hawthorne's experiment. Yeah. So what he did, this person was able to have like focus groups, control groups, etc. So he took some ladies who were doing some exercise at the General Electric. Yeah, this exercise needed you really to be able to see very well. Yeah. Yeah, you know, General Electric farm. Yeah. So he put them in some room when he was doing this study. Yeah. And then what he would do, he would keep on increasing the lighting. So he kept on increasing the lighting. As he increased the lighting, the productivity of those ladies went up and up. So this gentleman was in the process of trying to conclude that, you know what? It is all about the lighting. It's all about the working conditions. That if the working conditions are up there, then automatically we expect to have productivity also up there. Yeah. And then, of course, before he wrote that, he got a problem. There was, in this case here, I don't know whether it was by design or by bad luck, there was a power blackout, total darkness. When there was total darkness, we are told that the ladies who are under the experiment here, their productivity went up 3 times. Went up 3 times. And now that threw 𝗥𝗖𝗠 into a state of confusion. I thought the lighting, the more the lighting, the more the productivity. As I reduced the lighting to pure total darkness, we expected zero production. But these ladies, in this case here, went against that belief to post even the very best performance 3 times. So, and of course, then he was able to interview them. Interview is one of those tools that you use to collect data. So he took these ladies one at a time to his office and he was interviewing them. I mean, what happened? In total darkness, in these problematic times, I expected zero productivity. What happened? And those ladies, in this case here, the theme that came out of this experimentation, that came out of this interview, is that 𝗥𝗖𝗠, during this downtime, during this dark moment, you came and stayed with us. Listen to me. You came and stayed with us. We even saw you doing a few of this stuff with us. We felt your presence in the room. We felt your presence in the room. All right. So automatically 𝗥𝗖𝗠 was able to involve these people. That fine, we as a college, for example, we could be in a problem. Perhaps we have not been paying our rent. We are in arrears. And then we have, in this case here, a rent distress, whereby, for example, our landlord has sent, in this case, an auctioneer. Trust you me, that is not the time that you should run away, you as a leader. This is the time that your presence is really, really needed here. You'll be surprised. Your presence like this and trying to appreciate the capabilities of your employees, you'll be surprised. That could be a game changer. These employees are very bright. Somebody can come and say, hey, you know what? Because I see a future in this college, I have 100,000 here. Somebody give this auctioneer. I mean, a solution. Palipona wazee aparibiki neno. So apana toroka. In Kenya, most of the times, like our leaders that we have, whenever there is a problem, most of them will run away. They don't face the situations. 𝗥𝗖𝗠 said, face your elephant in the room. Face it. It's dark, but I will be there. Let's see, even if it means just keeping on talking, in this case, the productivity went up. And that is why at the end of the day, 𝗥𝗖𝗠 concluded that it is not really about the working conditions. It's not even about the money. It is the social, psychological support that matters most. And that is why he came and coined what we are studying up to now, what we are calling the School of Human Relations. School of Human Relations. He came and called it what here? Empathy. Empathy. You know, there is a difference between empathy and sympathy. Under sympathy, you will walk around, in this case, a disabled person. You see this person is disabled. You feel sorry for that person, but you end up doing nothing. That's sympathy. Under empathy, you put yourself in the shoes of this disabled person. Ask yourself, if I were him or her, what would have I expected the people passing by to do for me? Then you give something. That is empathy. So it depends on how you relate with the workers, how you respect them. If you relate with them very well, socially, they feel accepted. Their ideas, in this case here, are accepted. Whenever there are issues within the organization we solve, then automatically, ladies and gentlemen, we shall be able to do what here to win the trust of these people, and they shall be motivated and feel part and parcel of RCM College as employees. That is email. If you read in this case here last year, but one, when Safaricom introduced, in Safaricom, for example, when you go for your maternity leave, they'll give you 3 months. And then when you come back to the office, they give you options. You can come there with your kid. So they have that kind of PlayStation. Those kids are able to stay even there much longer. All right. So you can see the moment you do those kind of things, and now we have most of these ladies, in this case here, for example, being at that state where they're getting babies, then they will really want to work with Safaricom. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll even get big organizations like even in Kenya here that are not really good in terms of ergonomics. Ergonomics. So we call this ergonomics. Remember, ergonomics is the study of how a company's products can be tailored to fit needs of disadvantaged groups. So, for example, a breastfeeding lady, she's kind of disadvantaged. She would want some privacy. And now here you are a big organization, you don't even have a mother's room where these ladies here would, for example, use, which these ladies here could use, for example, to express milk. You know, these simple things are the ones that touch people. This is what 𝗥𝗖𝗠 spoke about when he was speaking about empathy. You will go to some airports, actually like our 𝗥𝗖𝗠. I mean, they're trying, but still pathetic. All right. All right. These are the kind of things. The moment you do these small things, then you'll get yourself, in this case here, going against the odds to post very good performance. We'll talk about ergonomics later. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. So first of all, for 𝗥𝗖𝗠, are we okay with 𝗥𝗖𝗠 now? With that explanation, is now the fruit low hanging? If you got this kind of a question, like it came last semester, 𝗥𝗖𝗠 came last semester. It came last semester. Yeah. Then we have in this case here the 𝗥𝗖𝗠. This may come this semester. The 𝗥𝗖𝗠. So, you know, as some couples keep on, I mean, fighting between themselves, there are some couples that are very, very serious. Like this couple, yeah, this couple went ahead to discover that for all employees, for all organizations here to be very productive, employees must always do 3 things. 3 things that must be done by employees. Number 1, each employee shall be a trainer. No, not a trainer first. Each employee shall be a doer. Very, very important. Each employee shall be a trainer, and then number 3, each employee shall be a trainee. You go to some organizations and then you realize that mid-level management and even the senior managers, they are there most of the times swinging on some comfortable red chairs, left, right. They're just swinging like this, reading newspapers as if they're going to be given an exam from those newspapers. People are not working. This is a culture that is really big here in Africa. When you go outside there like China, the US, Europe, you'll get managers doing a lot of work. A lot of work. So as a manager, you must be at the front line. Remember in the army, when you are an army general and then you go to the war, you will not put corporals ahead of you. You are ahead in everything. So in the military, for example, you go to the officers' mess. All right? You are senior there. At the war, you are always at the front line. Yeah. If there are any shots to be taken from the enemy, you'll be the first to take the hit. All right. So somebody should be able to help me there. We haven't done any question so far. All right. Sorry for that. So you're told in Kenya, managers delegate all their work to juniors, which is very, very bad. Yes, you can delegate, but you must work. You must work. If you want to know, like myself, what I'm doing currently or what I've been following, I don't watch football, but I always study football managers. Yeah, football managers. Like, for example, the football manager they got, the greatest of all of them is Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola. So Pep Guardiola, if you followed this Spaniard guy, this guy is really, really working throughout. Yeah, he's really, really working throughout. So this is leadership and management. And I'll be able to use some of his management styles to ensure that you understand this paper very well. You can't get Pep Guardiola in this case here being a manager. You know, a manager can decide, for example, in a football pitch to simply sit down because his work is about sporting for talent. And then we have coaches. All right. We are just revising across. We are revising across. Revising across. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. We shall be doers. You must be a doer at your workplace. Then number two, you must be a trainer. You must be a trainer. You must have a mentorship program. Where in this case here, for example, when a new employee comes on board, we have what we call proper onboarding. So somebody comes, they don't get harassed a lot. You'll be told in this case here for the next 3 weeks or even 3 months, you'll be reporting this person, and this person will be charged with teaching you, and you'll be given a mentorship bulletin. Yeah, so very, very important. And then, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me. You shall be a trainee. Even if you are the CEO, you shall attend training sessions within and outside the company. That is 𝗥𝗖𝗠 They gave us great things there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think those 3 scholars are good for us in the morning, which now in this case he introduces me to a very, very important. Yeah, that's a very good response. We need 4 along here. So in this case here, we introduces me to our today's question. So our today's question, I'll be able to use those 3 scholars. We are looking at April 2025. April 2025. And these questions are all of them the same, all of them. I mean, you can't fail in this paper, all of them. So I would want us to start with this case study question. Yeah, morning paper. Yeah, so this case study question always start by reading the requirement. Start by reading the requirement. So they want us to address ML's leadership and management challenges, alternative leadership approaches that promote collaboration, engagement, and a shared responsibility could yield more positive outcomes. Examine 5 leadership styles that ML management could have implemented. Leadership styles that ML management could have implemented, 5 for 10 marks. Highlight 5 categories of metrics ML board of directors could monitor to ensure the effectiveness of the proposed turnaround strategies. Highlight 5 categories of metrics ML board of directors could monitor to ensure the effectiveness of the proposed turnaround strategies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please listen and listen to me very well. Let's go through the case question. So the case question, what have they told us here? Elbow Manufacturing Enterprises Limited, ML, Elbow, a mid-sized manufacturing company firm with 500 employees, has experienced significant decline in performance over the past 2 years. Sorry, let me just see the messages. Yeah, we are just revising. We are revising. Thank you very much. Guide them. We are doing case questions. So the company, once known for its innovations and in industrial equipment, has seen its market share drop by 30% and employees' turnover rise to unprecedented levels. At the heart of the company's struggles lies a complex web of leadership and management issues. The board of directors remains largely disconnected from day-to-day operations. These are the guys who are not doers. Yeah, even if you are a board member, you know your responsibilities. It is to sit on that boardroom and, in this case here, tackle issues as they come there, deliberate, look for solutions, set, in this case here, strategic objectives. Yeah, I can see. Let me just go back and yeah, great. Okay. So we are told that the board of directors remain largely disconnected from day-to-day operations, meeting only quarterly and often making decisions without adequate consultation with middle management. The board meetings take not more than 2 hours. Hence, most of the board members do not understand the company's what-year dynamics. Yeah, I've been a board member, not once, not twice, in many organizations, and I know there are board members who simply come for meetings simply because of what-year allowances. So they make, in this case here, technical appearances. Have you ever seen those kind of people? They are not doers, they're useless people. Yeah, they are there. Great. So the chief executive officer, appointed 3 years ago, maintains an autocratic leadership style, rarely seeking input from departmental heads and frequently overriding their decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, an autocratic leader is a dictator. An autocratic leader is a dictator. Is a dictator. So a dictator, autocratic. Yeah, this is autocratic leader is a dictator. So this dictatorial model of managing workers has been overtaken by events. You could only do this in the 1930s, in the 1960s, not in this Gen Z, not in this Gen Z environment. In Gen Z environment, we must use what we call participative style. Participative style of management, isn't it? Of management. For those of you who are mothers and fathers around, I would want to get some feedback from you. How is it raising a teenager today? How is it raising a teenager today? Is it an easy work? Somebody who has a teenager at home? Seems nobody has a teenager. We shall overcome. It's quite difficult. Yeah, you listen more and talk less. That is it. You listen more and you talk less. It's very tough, yes. It's very, very tough. Somebody can just decide that this time I'm not going to school. If you don't, you must know it all. Yeah, very good. So we must participate. You must use what we call participative. Yeah, okay. Participative style of management. So it was appointed 3 years ago, maintains an autocratic leadership style, rarely seeking input from departmental heads and frequently overriding their decisions. These guys will go to the streets. This top-down approach has created a toxic organizational culture where middle managers feel disempowered and frustrated. They in turn have become increasingly rigid with their subordinates, leading to a breakdown in communication across all levels. Staff morale has plummeted, has gone down, with the employee satisfaction surveys showing a 45% decline in job satisfaction over the past 1 year. The company's relationships with stakeholders have also deteriorated. Suppliers report inconsistent communication and delayed payments to suppliers, leading some to demand stricter payment terms or refuse to extend credit. Key customers have expressed dissatisfaction with product quality and delivery times, resulting in the loss of several major contracts. Internal processes have become inefficient due to siloed department. I hope you guys understand what a silo is. Is there somebody who knows what a silo is? a silo. Yeah, like the granary, yeah? Granaries, those are very good silos. Yeah, they're independent of each other. Hapo unaweka mahindi gunia 5, ingine mahindi. Silos don't get to speak to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what we are advocating for in modern management styles. We want, in this case here, what we call open offices, not silos. Open offices, open offices. If you call me to your organization, I will be able to advise. If, for example, ladies and gentlemen, you are that kind of an organization that has got, for example, this is a closed office for the manager, another closed office for, no, that is really melting down. Especially when you go out there, like in Dubai, all offices are flattened. Yeah, they'll only have like just a boardroom for discussions of sensitive matters with, for example, outsiders. Especially those offices that have gone like full paperless. Yeah, you don't need like physical. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, this thing of closing up yourselves in offices, having those silos that can't speak to each other is long gone. Long gone. For those of you who will be starting businesses, ensure that your offices are open. You should be able to see what procurement is doing. You should be able to see, in this case here, what the HR department is doing. It's very, very important because it also supports, for managers, it also supports what we call 𝗥𝗖𝗠 principle. 𝗥𝗤 is management by walking around. Management by, in this case here, mingling with other staff. Because ile kitu ya kusema tu ni mkubwa sana, hiyo kitu hakuna. Hiyo kitu hakuna. Hiyo kitu inaenda kuisha. Hiyo ndio inafanya vijana hawa watatuchapa viboko. We have to be very, very accessible. We must exercise what we call open door policy for quick decision making. Remember, right now, information is really flowing very, very fast. You can't say, for example, that we are the communications department. Now we have our special office outside there. All right, special office, which is closed, that now you have to book an appointment to talk to the chief. No, you'll get, in this case here, a cleaner down there has come across a bad video on TikTok regarding the farm, and he wants to communicate so that you guys can mitigate. If it's bloggers, talk to the bloggers before this video, in this case here, escalates. So if you're closing up yourselves, who will be able to give you this information? That era of blocking things is long gone. We must exercise open door policy. We must exercise, ladies and gentlemen, lots of humility in our management. Yeah. So 𝗥𝗖𝗠 is management by walking around. And you should be able to advise you. If you see a boss who is simply rotating on their great, comfortable red chairs, tell them that is against management. And it's also against, in this case here, their health status. You know, when you just seated around the whole day, your sugars are up there. Let's burn these sugars by walking around in our factory floors. Let's get involved. Hataki pressure, blood pressure kuwe. Hapana. Hapana. All right. So remember, this is top down, and we're saying the current system of management, the participatory, we expect bottom up, bottom up, bottom up, bottom up. That is why Kenya Kwanza's bottom up thing resonated very well with everybody. But I don't know whether they are still exercising it. Are they able to listen? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. So suppliers reported inconsistent communication. I've read that already. Yeah. However, the situation is not beyond salvation. We can still salvage things. The board recently hired a management consultant who recommended several turnaround strategies, implementing a participative leadership style, establishing regular cross-departmental meetings, creating feedback channels across all levels, and developing a comprehensive stakeholder engagement plan. Remember stakeholder engagement plan, and I would want you to quote this. We normally call it the Mendeloo model. Very important model that you must always quote in your exam. So under the Mendeloo model, you need to map out employees. Not employees, but stakeholders. Map out. These are mapping out. Mapping out of stakeholders tool. So you need to know, in this case here, those stakeholders who have a very high interest in the company, and for example, lots of power. Lots of power. Those people have a lot of interest. Yeah. and lots of power. For example, major customers. You see, a major customer will be interested in your company so much because if you fail, he knows that some of his supply chain will fail. And this major customer is very, very powerful according to Mendeley. Yeah. Why is it very powerful? Should he decide to move his business away, we shall lose. We can even close the farm. So we must listen to this stakeholder. There are stakeholders who have interest in the company. They have interest in the company, interest in the company, interest in the company, but in this case here, with little power, with little power, with little power, with little power. Who are these, ladies and gentlemen? In this case here, like, for example, employees. People may argue out that employees are really, really powerful, but you see, for them, they have a big interest of the company growing. Huge interest, yes, they do. Yeah. But in this case here, really, if you listen to them, of course, you're listening to them. Listen to them is very, very important. But remember, in this case here, their power is not really that much. Yeah, their power is not really that much. You can again come and categorize them according to Mendeley. There are those high level, high cadre employees, and there are these normal employees. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are saying that they are important, all of them. We should be able to listen to all of them. But again, you see, if you say that you are listening to them, what if they push you to giving them unreasonable salaries? For those of you who have been managers, you know what I'm talking about. There are times in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be a Pep Guardiola. Tell these people here that we are not in this for money. We are here because of football. All right. If you don't like it, there are times you have to tell them go away. All right. Bad principle, but Mendeley is very, very important. Do your research over it. It's a very, very important model. Mendeley. All right. So in this case here, you can see there are so many stakeholders who are talking too much, they're complaining. So we have feedback across all levels and developing a comprehensive stakeholder management engagement plan. The consultant has also suggested leadership training for all management level staff and the introduction of performance-based incentives aligned with company goals. Initial steps have shown promise. A pilot program implemented in one department incorporated employee feedback and a collaborative decision-making amongst other turnaround strategies has already led to a 15% improvement in productivity. The challenge now lies in scaling these changes across the organization while managing resistance from entrenched interests. I like the concept of collaborative. This is so important. It is the opposite of a silo. Yeah, here we are talking between ourselves, between employees, between departments. The challenge now lies in scaling these challenges across the organization while managing resistance required to address ML's leadership and management challenges. Alternative leadership approaches that promote collaborative engagement and shared responsibility could yield more positive outcomes. Examine 5 leadership styles that ML management could have implemented. Yeah, like the autocracy is wrong. So in this case here, which are these leadership styles, ladies and gentlemen? Let's discuss now. Which leadership styles are we looking at here, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, like perspective. Like perspective, yeah, very good. Transformational, I like transformational so much because a transformational leader is a visionary leader. He is a visionary leader. You should be able to see very, very far. You should be able to make changes. So if it is Pep Guardiola is the one who brought this thing of tiki-taka. Mnajua football kweli? Nyinyi mnajua football? Mnajua football kweli nyinyi? Ah, servant leadership. I love servant leadership. Oh, okay. Situational leadership. Depending on various situations, you must change. Like, for example, if it's football, when you are given Barcelona B, yeah, You must be able to know that these are, for example, upcoming people. Just go to their level. That is situational. All right. All right. So let me, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, share this handout. We are seeing haters all over, isn't it? Mngekuwa mnajua football, ningetumia examples za football sana, lakini naona amjui football sana nyinyi. Ampendi football. So leadership styles at ML would have implemented. So for example, we have transformational leadership. It focuses on inspiring and motivating employees towards a shared vision. Yeah, towards a shared vision. Yeah. So example, a transformational leader at email could engage the research and development team with a compelling vision for future product lines, sparking creativity and ownership. Remember, under transformational leadership, this is the example of the bus. For those of you who know some little football, the bus, the football manager is the driver. So the driver should be able to have a bigger vision. Yeah, we are going in this case here to Mombasa, right? He'll be able to go through so many challenges, bumps, potholes, bad trucks, etc. But you see, he's selling the vision to everybody behind. These guys in this case here may not even be seeing some of the things that this driver is seeing, but he's telling them that we shall be in Mombasa in 6 hours time, 6 hours. So we have to share some vision here. We must make the people seated behind the bus, ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, feel that, and we must be able to change things. We must be able to change the employees for the better. We must be able to inspire them. Then we have participative or democratic leadership. Involves employees in decision making. Yeah, allow departmental managers at ML to contribute ideas during strategy formulation would improve morale and alignment. Ensure that as you are discussing these points, you are bringing up the case question. Remember, this is a case question, and the name of the company is ML. Be discussing about this. Be bringing out issues of ML in your discussions. Servant leadership, it prioritizes the needs of employees and the stakeholders, promoting service before authority. Before authority. That I'm big. I'm in this case here senior at my workplace, just like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa is a very, very good example of servant leadership. Everyone else was important. She was just there to look at employees' morale, all other stakeholders. Yata pesa yake hakuna. Yeah, servant leadership, of course, in the modern world, you need somebody, right? But in terms of servant leadership, you are putting all these other stakeholders ahead of you. Work for them. A servant leader might hold regular one-on-one sessions with line staff to understand the ground level challenges and remove those roadblocks. Yeah, you are here as a CEO, but you're serving everyone else. These employees, you can sit down with them. Situational leadership, ladies and gentlemen, adapts leadership style based on team maturity and the task at hand. For example, a new sales team at ML might need more directive leadership initially, but gradually shift towards supportive as they gain experience. Transactional leadership, wala wanasema kwamba mimi I'm in this for money. I'm in this for money. Like in Kenya, we exercise what we call transactional leadership. Uses rewards and the punishments to achieve compliance with tasks. Example, ML could implement performance-based bonuses linked to productivity and the quality improvements in the factory. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, under transactional leadership, we believe that there are 2 ways you could use to make a donkey move forward. So the donkey principle, 2 ways. You can hit it from behind, hit it from behind. If you hit it, not unless it's a crazy donkey, automatically it will be able to move forward. Or in this case here, you can dangle a carrot. Yeah, quite close to its mouth. You simply dangle a carrot and then you walk away. It will follow you. Yeah, so that is transactional. Transactional. I must push you. Remember, This transactional model is the model that assumes that generally human beings are lazy. Human beings are lazy, which is this theory. Human beings are generally lazy, that they need to be pushed for things to work. That's transactional. Theory X, yes. That's transactional. Theory X. Transactional. So it's either you give them a carrot, yeah, so give them bonuses, they follow, or whenever they mess, hit them, punish them like that. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, from there they have asked us, and very few students are able to answer these questions correctly. You'll allow me to just go and read this because you have read this. Categories of metrics to monitor turnaround effectiveness. They have always asked us about this question of KPIs, key performance indicators. Key performance indicators, always, many times. Key performance indicators. Key performance indicators, yeah. KPIs. Whenever you hear about metrics, always think about KPIs. They can ask you to give them KPIs over what year? Customers. KPIs over finances, etc. Like here, they were very, very categorical. They have asked us, ladies and gentlemen, to give them metrics to monitor turnaround effectiveness. Remember, things were not going on very well at ML. We need to turn around things for the better. We have started, at least tried. Now we can see our productivity has improved by 15%. But I mean, that is just on our way to turn around. So what strategies are we going to put in place to ensure that we have got turnaround? That is not what the question is asking. The question is asking about metrics. How do we measure? Yeah, for example, in this case here, to measure, we need to talk to many, many stakeholders. Like now, employee engagement and satisfaction metrics. Yeah, through surveys, turnover rates, absenteeism, and the feedback loops. Example, a 20% increase in satisfaction score post-intervention signals cultural improvements. Yeah, I would need a metric to measure employee satisfaction. I would need a metric to measure productivity itself. Yeah, productivity itself, ladies and gentlemen, we have the operational efficiency. Are we efficient? So, for example, monitor the production cycles. How many downtimes do you experience? Waste levels, delivery timelines. Do we promise to deliver in 1 day, but we take 10 days? Example, reduced delivery delays from 10 to 3 days indicates progress, process streamlining. Then we have financial performance metrics. Here we're looking at the gross profit margins. We're looking at the return on capital employed. So many things you can talk about. So track profit margins, revenue growth, cost savings, return on investment. This is a firm that is struggling. We must have something for the innovation. Yeah, research and development department. Yeah, like how many new products have you recommended for development? Yeah, innovation and R&D metrics, number of new ideas implemented, time to market, and the cross-functional contributions. Example, launch of 3 new product lines from previously siloed departments. Yeah, like for example, we had so many. I mean, to turn around, we have talked to stakeholders. To turn around, we must talk to the suppliers because they were complaining a lot. So stakeholder engagement metrics, supplier satisfaction, customer retention, and the complaints resolution time. Example, a reduction in supplier credit refusal or enhanced customer reviews. So ladies and gentlemen, remember here they are talking about turnaround. What do we need to do to turn around? Yeah, we'll have in this case here metrics to do with quality, even if it's not given in the answer there. Yeah, quality, for example, how many defective products have been returned? That's a very, very good metric, ladies and gentlemen. I would want in this case here turnaround to even have a metric, a key performance indicator on customer complaints. Yeah, employees could be complaining internally. That's why they're not able to produce high quality products. I would want to have a metric on these stakeholders, the Mendelow's model. All right. So I don't know whether you are able to get like, and when you are discussing these things, because it's a case study, I will not even go the way I've gone there. So for example, under customer, or not customer, but under, for example, the stakeholder engagement, as I talk about suppliers, I will say that suppliers at a mail currently, they're complaining. So I would want to track these complaints by having a KPI on this, how many complaints have been received from the suppliers. That will be able to get out of 10 marks, the examiner can give you 12 out of 10. No, I'm joking. But have you been able to pick somebody, some great concepts there? Have you been able to pick some great concepts out of what we have discussed? Yes. Remember, like the other day, they asked about the KPIs of customers. They asked about KPIs of customers. Basically, these KPIs, they normally look at what we call the balance scorecard. If you look around, they normally look at balance scorecard. So under balance scorecard, yeah, somebody should be able to help me share that past paper. So under the balance scorecard, we have got how many perspectives? 4 of them of measuring performance. So 4 perspectives. So these 4 perspectives, oh yeah, do you remember them? Do you remember them for AMA? Yeah, do you remember them? These 4 perspectives, number 1, we have financial. Yeah, thank you so much. You can actually go ahead and write them. Yeah, we have the customer perspective, internal business processes perspective, internal business process perspective, and then we have what we call learning and what here, innovation. The growth perspective. If you want to grow, you must have a learning and innovation. Yeah, learning and innovation. So then they will ask you to give them KPIs over those. Like if it's KPIs under financial, I would want a KPI that monitors cost. Am I reducing my cost? So for example, I would want the cost per unit. After the intervention, you have brought in a new machine. Is the cost per unit going down? I would want in this case here profit margins, many things. If it is customer perspective, the metrics I would want is number 1, a metric on customer acquisition. Am I, as RCM, are we getting new customers every other day? So I'll be able to look at the end of the semester, if it's RCM, how many new students do we have vis-a-vis our total student population? If it's less than 10%, then my marketing team is not doing anything. I would want this year come and say many things, and then we work on those areas of improvements. Yeah, so I want a metric there. Then we have in this case here, am I back now? Let me get a confirmation. I saw like my internet has I'm still hanging. I'm told I'm still hanging. Are we good now? Now, okay, great. Thank you so much. So I repeat, so in terms of satisfaction, give students, give customers those feedback forms, they survey, then they give you information. Great. And then you act on it. So I need a metric on that. Then I need a metric on customer loyalty. Ladies and gentlemen, as in Africa, we are not so big on customer loyalty. Like in this particular class, you will get somebody, for example, who has been so loyal to RCM. This ninja came to RCM from CAMS level, ATD, they have gone to CPA intermediate, ETC, and now they are at the advanced level. I mean, in all fairness, we need to reward loyalty. We need like the bonga points. Like as RCM, our bonga points will be, like now such a student, when they come to the last paper, BDA, they should not pay any fees. Yeah, we should always, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, pay back loyal customers. That is just an example. Don't come here next semester saying that, Mwalimu, you said we study for free. We are a small organization. We are a small organization. Loyalty. So I would want a metric of measuring loyalty. Very, very important. Yeah. Then we go to the business processes. Business process efficiency. I would want to look at free education. Great. Pre-education, great. So under business processes, we're looking at the defective items. I would want a metric on defective items. I would want a metric on downtime. I would want a metric on how many, for example, new systems have we developed for production, something like that. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, the last one is learning and what year innovation. Under learning and innovation, we are looking at how many new products do you produce in the year. If you look at the giants in Kenya, in terms of organizations that are really doing very well, those companies that even during Corona, they reported increased profitability. They are very big in innovation. They normally come up with the new products every now and then. Look at EABL. So EABL, I remember like in 2010, we did an agronomic. This is something I used to be very good at, but nowadays I don't do it. I'm past this. So we did for them agronomics study. So I told you agronomics, and agronomics, basically we're looking at how a company's products can be tailored to fit needs of disadvantaged groups. So like, for example, breweries, they wanted to know disadvantage in this case here for them was the gender, female, why most females were not drinking their products. That was 2010. We did a survey for a whole year. So we're going around these good hotels. Whenever we were getting any lady, whenever they were drinking water, we were asking them in a good way, why are you not drinking Tusker, Guinness, products of what year? Breweries. And most of them were able to tell us interesting things. Feedback. They gave us feedback. For example, they told us that I would have wanted to hold those bottles, but those bottles are too huge. They are masculine. If you look around since 2012, they started making what we call the stout bottles, quite tiny, to take advantage of these ladies. They told us, no, I would have wanted to take this thing, but they are very bitter. The last time I tried, it wasn't nice. Since 2012, around that time, now breweries started making sweet beer. Is there somebody who is able to give me an example of a sweet beer? Is there somebody who is able to give me an example of a sweet beer like Savannah? Great, great. Black Ice, Cedar, great, 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 great. Pineapple Punch, okay, great. So, and interestingly, when we went doing this other research post implementation, post intervention, after this had been launched, we got that these sweet beers were being drunk more by men than women. So meaning that there were also men who were suffering in silence. There were also men who were suffering in silence. Okay, great. Yeah. So innovation. And because of that, ladies and gentlemen, EABL is big in innovations. Remember right now they have bought Serengeti Brewers in Tanzania. If you go to Uganda, ladies and gentlemen, over there, most of now the beer that is being consumed there belongs to breweries. So these guys are innovating in terms of products. They're innovating in terms of regions. Yeah. So it will be very, very important. So this informs me that when I'll be organizing a party, then I should be able to know what to serve. When I'll be organizing a party for you at my home, I should be able to know what to serve, right? Kuna watu wa Del Monte, kuna watu wengine. Namna hii. Watu wa soda pia wako huko. Okay. Kofi peke yake imetosha. We shall overcome. Okay. So we must be innovative, and I want to see you guys mentioning these points in your exam. For example, even in this sitting, they were asking us about marketing strategy. So we're going to see. Yeah. We must think about innovation in terms of marketing. Look at these companies like breweries, ladies and gentlemen. These breweries, if you look at breweries, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of, they know who they are even selling to this beer. So when they are advertising, they don't do any advertisement, focusing on somebody of my age. They do the adverts focusing on 14-year-old, 15, 16, 17. By the time they reach that level, watakuwa washajua kuna Tusker. Unasikia wanasema nguruma na mfalme. You see, mimi mzee najua kuna kunguruma, lakini mtoto wangu in future anaweza taka kunguruma. Unaona, wanasema if you want to stand tall, drink Tusker. Unaona, so they know their advertisements, and this is what I would want you to start knowing, even for your own audit firms, because I would want you to open audit firms in future. Huwezi kuwa na audit firm iko Kariobangi, nyumba ya 7 floors, haina lift, inaenda hivi 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 hivi. Unapeleka mtu mara kwa hata mtu hata kuangalia hata atachukua simu ya. No. That is why we'll always talk about big four. Small firms are not, because we don't know how to market. All right. All right. We must know marketing strategies. That is really, really important. By the way, this class was supposed to end at 7, but I would want to ask for your permission. Niende paka 8:30. Is that okay? 8:30. 8:30 is not really. 8:30. 8:30 is good. Great. Thank you so much. 8:30 is good. Yeah. Alafu hii subject ni application. Hii subject haitaki kukram mingi. You'll be surprised the way I teach it like this. And also the way like somebody CPA job teaches it. If you master it that way, you will be able to pass. So strategies to improve stakeholder relationship, the Mendelow's. Yeah. Develop a stakeholder engagement framework. So identify, categorize, and engage stakeholders based on influence and interest, based on power and interest. Example, ML could hold quarterly stakeholder forums with suppliers and key customers. Yeah, strategies to improve stakeholder relationships. How do we make sure that our stakeholders like suppliers are happy? Yeah, so you must have a framework, and this framework, you normally call it Mendelov. Then we have in this case here transparent communication. Hata kama una pesa, you know, sisi accountants pia tunasaidia sana ama directors kuwa waongo. Na ama directors wakiwa waongo, hata si tutaenda jehanamu. Unaenda kwa accountant, in this case here, ni paycheck yangu mimi kama supplier, ni paycheck. Accountant anakuambia jiji sainiwa, check tomorrow. Ukikuja kesho unaambiwa CEO ni mgonjwa. Kesho kutwa unaambiwa this accountant akona mlango wa nyuma, anatoroka. All right, we shall be very, very transparent. Trust you me, most of these guys, what they need is just open communication channels. People know that we have problems globally. So if I come to your organization for a payment and then you tell me that, hey, we have this small issue, just give us 2 weeks in writing. You'll be surprised. Instead of coming exactly after 2 weeks, I may come in this case like on the 3rd week. I'll give you more room, flexibility to adapt, to do a few things here and there. All right. We shall overcome. Okay. So transparent communication will be able to improve strategic stakeholder relationships. So regular updates on company's changes and performance help rebuild trust. Email bulletins or reports to suppliers about payment schedules, very, very important. Implement supplier relationship management systems. Remember, we have CRM for those who are good in SAP and ERP systems. We have customer relationship management. And then we have in this case here, SRM, supplier. Let suppliers in this case here get to track their payments online. Don't have in this case here, like the other day, I saw some lady who went to some circle, I'll not mention the circle. And this lady in this case here went there and she was really screaming that, I applied for a loan. Now you are telling, no. I have an online system where these guys are able to monitor their payments online so that we reduce on the people who are coming to the office. A supplier portal where ML provides real-time status on pending payments. Collaborative product development. Yeah, involve key customers and partners in product innovation. Example, R&D, co-creation workshops with strategic clients to design customized industrial tools. So, ladies and gentlemen, it will be very, very important for us to engage our stakeholders. Engagement, please, just like family level. If we are not able to talk to each other, then automatically this family will collapse. So we need, first of all, a framework. Everybody should be able to know their boundaries. And that stakeholder framework the law. Very, very important. Keep on quote that. Yeah. Let in this case here, you can even yeah, I see my internet is not very good, so I'll have to shut down the yeah, Wako Bank niliona we shall overcome. Mental issues pia ni mingi sana kwa society. Kwa society mental issues ni mingi sana because people are going through a lot. So are you able to hear me? I got an internet disruption. Are you able to hear me now? Are you able to hear me? You can't see me. Now I've muted my video. All right. Thank you so much. So then use participative style. Look at a company like Tallow Oil. This question also came the other day. Tallow. Tallow Oil, of course, you know that they are winding the operations in Kenya. The Turkana people, I mean, we gave them in Kenya, we gave them very good ground to do their oil exploration. But you see, at the end of the day, they were not involving the locals very well. Many times I remember like there was a 3-week period where locals simply sat on the road and told them that you can't transport nothing from this area. So we must be able to know the community projects. We must be able to even set quotas for them in terms of employment. We must be able to build it for them. I mean, these people have given us so much for us to exist. So we must do quite a lot, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that they do what here. But am I okay now? Are you able to hear me, Kips? I like your humor, sense of humor. That's very, very good. Are you able to hear me now? Are you able to hear me now? Loud and clear. Great. Thank you so much. So let's continue here. Yeah, yeah. Great, 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 great. Then I can see somebody who is inboxing me. This person, this thing must have really touched them. You can imagine since I spoke about beer, we are over 10 minutes now. This person is telling me that Mwalimu, it's like you're promoting beer. I can't promote beer. Where? I've not told anybody to drink anything. No, no, I don't promote beer. That is simply for what here, our understanding purposes, right? So don't get me wrong. This ninja should not take the life very seriously. Don't take life very seriously. Don't take life very seriously. Great. All right. So measures to improve cross-functional collaboration and innovation through organization redesign. 12 marks. Because we want, ladies and gentlemen, these companies, these departments here to talk. We want employees to talk, regardless of the department they are working in. Cross-functional collaboration. So adopt a matrix structure. A matrix structure, I normally see this with these European organizations. Like I worked for a Swedish company called Arrow. Arrow, in this case here, they really used to use, ladies and gentlemen, this matrix structure. Do you know what is a matrix structure? A matrix structure is that structure where you have two bosses. Yeah, and basically to get the second boss, have many projects. Have many projects in the farm. So when you have many projects in the farm, then you have project managers. Project managers. Project managers. So then what will happen is that if you have somebody like yeah, especially for the you don't have to write like an example, but for the case question, yes, would expect you to put the name. You must show some relationship between what you're discussing and the case. So you lose marks. You know, LM is one paper that people really fail. So when you have a project manager, for example, they'll come and co-opt you as an accountant to a project. You see, then at the end of the day, you'll be reporting to that project manager. And you have your line manager, you have your CFO. So under matrix, remember matrices, if you remember from your QA, you guys passed quantitative analysis. A matrix is defined by rows and columns. Rows and columns. So along the row, yeah, row-wise, you're reporting to a PM. Column-wise, you're reporting to your project manager. When you have, in this case here, this kind of a matrix structure, then you will be enhancing collaboration in the company, because now you are mixing up these employees. We are mixing up, Janet, we shall overcome now. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, then I will be able to share here. Yeah, create cross-functional teams. Encourage collaboration across departments. Whenever there is an issue like you want a task force, don't have a task force of all accountants. No, in this task force, bring somebody from logistics, bring somebody from sales. Let these employees get to do what you to work. There is quite a lot that accountants have to learn from the legal department. Mix them. Flatten the hierarchy. What I normally tell people when I go outside here for these consultancies, ladies and gentlemen, you should never run a company with a hierarchy in the name of what here, a hierarchy which is similar to a military. You know, in the military, don't do a military hierarchy. Military hierarchy. You know, military hierarchy is really, really deep. Military hierarchy is very, very bad. I would not want my son to be in the military. I'm sorry if you're in the military, but I mean, military is quite. So you get, for example, like the commander in chief on top. Then this guy is followed by so many people, rather general, whatever. Then we have in this case here colonels, lieutenant colonels, we have majors, we have in this case here captains, we have in this case here other ranks, and other ranks we have warrant officer 1, warrant officer 2, senior sergeant, until you get in this case here the constabulary, the constable. So when do you think this constable will ever get a chance in this case, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to the president? Look at that hierarchy. So this constable can maybe get to talk to the president when the president is inspecting the guard. Kanguke chini na bunduki chini. Kakue summoned. You also talk summoned at a very high level. All right. Yeah, you're not having any much. You know, when you have this kind of a hierarchy, very good. A very good question there. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, in this case, here, hierarchy, we are not saying that you avoid hierarchy totally, but have it in this case here flattened. So you have in this case here, like for example, Indians, they exercise a lot of Patrick here. So the father, like the father there. So like all these people are reporting to this guy, all right? And they know, like, for example, if our father owns a hospital, everyone else is working towards being important in that hospital. All the kids are studying medicine, etc. So ladies and gentlemen, ensure that you flatten the hierarchy. You flatten the hierarchy. Ile kitu ya kusema ati kabla unione atienda ona so and so, utakosa opportunities. So flatten the hierarchy if you want this cross-functional model to work. So reduce bureaucracy and improve speed of communication. Example, eliminate redundant managerial layers to empower middle managers. Yeah, redefine roles and responsibilities, clarify duties to prevent conflicts and overlaps. Use of digital collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams is very, very good. Microsoft Teams, or even Office 365. Have everything online. Everybody in this case here, whenever there is something in the company, you as a CEO, ask for inputs from people from various departments. Let people try to work together. A unified task dashboard for product development from ideation to delivery. So many things you can talk about. Incorporate like innovation hubs. You see, when you have an innovation hub at, for example, RCM, this innovation hub will be a hub like for all people from various departments. So whatever point you put across, so long as, ladies and gentlemen, like even these answers, I don't like them 100% because I'm not talking about ML. After some time, you need to keep on mentioning, like ML should introduce Microsoft Teams to ensure that people from different departments here are able to make contributions to various projects online. These collaborations, ladies and gentlemen, you can even have, in this case here, a situation where you are shadowing roles. Where you are shadowing roles, there must be a great ninja here who wants to write something. Great shadowing of roles. Have people in this case here from a different department being posted in accounts department, even for example, for a day or 2 days like that. Great. Then if you allow me, I have 10 minutes. I'll be able to look at question number 2. This was not done very well because so many people confuse between administration and what here and management. So many people confuse. Let me try to ensure this guy cannot do what he wants to do here. Annotate. Just a moment. Where disable annotation. Now you can write. Let him try writing. You see whether he'll be able to write. He can't write. So administration is a top level. Yeah, administration is top level. Management follows administration. So at admin up there, we set policies. Administration is at the board level up there. And then now we have like the CEO being a manager. Administration is the process of formulating the fundamental objectives, policies, and procedures of an organization and overseeing the implementation through strategic planning, coordination, and the control to ensure the achievement of organizational goals. Key features of administration, and to bring this out very well for you to understand. So key features, it focuses on top there, policy formulation rather than implementation, sets the overall direction of the company, operates at the top level management, e.g. board of directors, government authorities, involves decision-making or long-term sustainability. An example, in the government ministry, administration would involve setting national health policy, whereas management would involve ensuring hospitals follow that policy effectively. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think with that, I would want to welcome all of you to join my low-hanging classes, low-hanging fruits classes. They shall not be hanging, right? Yeah, we shall be able to ensure that you great ladies and gentlemen get to pass. These are direct, they're very good, and I try as much as possible to relate them to my daily management experiences. So if you want, in this case here, to join us, ladies and gentlemen, for these classes, ensure that you call us. Our number is 0793 555 000, 0793 555 000. Students in the paid groups shall not pay. If you are in the paid group, if you paid us in whatever month, so long as you are in the paid group, these sessions are yours to consume for free. Otherwise, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Happy Sabbath. There is no boss but leader, and you could find junior contributing lots of ideas, very encouraging, flat hierarchy. Who is this? This is a very good comment. Wewe unauliza kama kuna vacancy huko, sababu mali yako amefinywa na bad bosses, amefinywa. I've already shared this document. Yeah. It's on WhatsApp, yes. Thank you so much. All the best. All the best. Be blessed. See you later for other sessions. And please bring to me every student you find outside there who is struggling with these papers. Bring them over this season, over these low-hanging fruits. They'll pass all of them. They'll pass all of them. They will pass all of them. Yeah. So I'm the one teaching, yes, this at 9:30, yes. I'm the one teaching this at 9:30. We shall overcome. We shall overcome by. That reminds me, I need to rest a little bit before 9:30. Thank you. See you then.